All right, patrons, I am back for a much promised video. A number of you have reached out to me and asked me to go over these brushes. So I think the best way of doing this is for me to show you the brushes, then I will show you the various different ones and different hairs that work basically the same. Then what we can do is, I'll have some paper here as well. I'm not going to use a very absorbent paper. I think I'll use this way you can probably see the line better, like it'll hold the line a little better. And let me see. And then we'll sort of talk through the various brushes. Now also, I've been working with Tracy Levinson to he's creating a page on his website that will be all of my favorites and the ones that I use, and even the ones that were featured in the book, or ones that were not necessarily featured in the book but work the same way with some of the techniques, because he and I got together on all of that. And I'll have a link on my website, so at least it's going to make it easier. So hopefully in the next month or so, that should be complete. But in the meantime, we'll go over the brushes. And first I'm going to talk about them. And then the ones that are closely similar, I mean, that are different enough, we'll do some mark making. And then he also has a whole series of brushes that he created just for me based on some things that I was wanting, and so we'll talk about those as well. And I haven't really gotten a chance to experiment with all of them. I've started experimenting with some of them, but not all of them. So yeah. Alright, so let's start with my original collection. This is my original collection from nearly 30 years ago. Okay, so the very first brushes that I ever purchased, and this was when Tracy's cousin, he was the original founder of the company and the creator of all these brushes. So he originally, I bought his from him, Robin. I purchased these from him originally at a stationery show at the Javits Center in New York. Probably in the mid 90s, I want to say. These were the first two. And of course, this is the original scripting brush. This is still one of my absolute favorite ones to script with, and I just think it was made just for me. I mean, not really, but I felt like it because the way the brush just turns and holds in my hand. And you'll find that as you go through and you discover your collections, there'll be ones that just fit in your hand beautifully, and they'll be for one type of technique, and then others will be for different techniques. So it's just a process of trying to stay open to what different brushes will do different things. This one right here was a beautiful one. I think I bought it more for the aesthetics, but you know, you could obviously see because it was white, and now it's a little gray, but this makes a beautiful stroke as well. When I want to do larger brush making. So these are definitely my, more of my intuitive scripting style brushes for sure. Now, I don't have the labels on these any longer, but I do know that this is the quarter, this is the, let's get rulers here. This should be the 1/2 inch, yeah, it's a 1/2 inch Russian sable. That's what this is. So this is the Russian sable and the 1/2 inch. That's my original scripting brush. So you might want to take notes in this process, because I'm not going to list each of these brushes underneath, but when you go to his site, you'll see it. It'll be like, you know, like I just said, 1/4 inch Russian sable. Every brush is going to look different, so it's not going to look exactly like this. First of all, this is a brush that was done almost 30 years ago, and secondly, the handles are all going to look different, but the functionality is going to be the same. Okay, so this is like I said, 1/4 inch Russian sable. This right here is 1 1/4 inch. So this one was 1.5 inches actually. I don't know if he still makes this brush, but this is 1.5 inches in the, I think this one is the deer hair. Let me just pull this out. Some of these older ones, I try, when he sends me new ones now, I try to keep them with the information on the bottom. So this one should be the deer hair in 1.5 inches. So put these up here. This right here is also deer, and it's a beautiful long brush. And now these, I'm going to show you my collection, and I will do the ones that look close. If there's something that you just find appealing and you find it interesting and you want to try them, this one is a 3 inch in the deer. Now this one it's very springy. The deer is very springy, like the Russian sable, and this would absorb a lot of ink, and this would be for larger scripting areas. So you wouldn't want this for trying to do it on a small sheet. This is for much larger scripting. So probably I wouldn't start there. This right here is also this right here, this is an older one too, but this one is basically 1 3/4 inches, or maybe he has them as a 2 inch now. And this is a combination of, I want to say that this is a combination of elk and deer. And I use this one for when I want to do bold marks, but you see it's a shorter bit of brush, so it'll allow me to work within a smaller space. Okay, I'm back. I got some calls. That was contractors with the house, because I'm working on that. That's going full steam ahead and what have you. Okay, so this was a combination of elk and deer. Nice brush, great for making very large, big patterns, especially still on a larger space. Now all of these are from, these were all purchased subsequent to these, but I still have these. I've had these for about 20 years. So here's another, this is a fox. This is like I said, this is a Russian sable. So this is fox. Fox and sable are about the same. Sable is just a little softer than the fox, but these work well. That's a fox. This is a sable. That's a sable. This is a Russian sable. This is actually one from Tracy, his current collection. These were from his cousin. This right here is rabbit, and this one is elk. Elk is springier. It's a little springier. Okay, so I'm just showing you the collection, so when you see me using some of these, you know, you can see that maybe you'll see the differences. And this is when I got them before. This is what his cousins look like, Lebazon brushes. His name was Keith. And these are all the different brushes and stuff. But yeah, so it's cool. I'm glad I held on to that. Okay, so let's put these to the side, except for I do want to pull, because we want to duplicate. So this is one that you're going to want to duplicate. Not so much this one. So I'll put those to the side. Now, my second favorite, okay, so all of these are, this right here is a silver fox. It's a little softer than the sable, but this is a good scripting one. This one is 70 and it's a small silver fox, and this one should be a 1/2 inch. Yep. So this is a good one like this one. So we're going to put those up there. This one right here is a silver fox. It's the same as this one. It's just a different handle. No, this one is actually, yeah, this is an inch. This is an inch. This was a 1/2 inch. Yeah, this is a 1/2 inch. And this right here is like just a little over a 1/2 inch. So these are basically the same silver fox, but the it's a shorter. It's shorter. Now, also, just so you know about all the things, all of the natural fibers he used, he literally gets old coats that have been gone to the charity shops and all that kind of stuff, and he literally takes those and he repurposes them. So none of this is, all of this is vintage hairs. Nothing is all repurposed. He doesn't get anything from any new, you know, farms, I guess, that kill or raise animals for fur, just so you know. Okay, so let's look at this. I'm gonna try to pull all of the, so this is Russian sable. So this is like this one. It's just a longer one for scripting. The Russian sable is a little bit more than the silver fox. Well, it's like double. This one is an inch, and this would be a scripting one as well. Okay. Just trying to get everything in order so it makes sense. This one right here is a fox. It's the 𝐍𝐷 because the handle. So the handle is 𝐍𝐷 or 𝐍𝐷. I've asked him. He said it doesn't matter how you say it. So when you see these type of handles, the bamboo is actually 𝐍𝐷 or 𝐍𝐷. Where this right here is traditional bamboo. This is the 𝐍𝐷. Okay, so that's the difference. Still, you know, fire, you know, cured bamboo, all of that. It's just a different way that he puts the hair in and blah blah blah. It's more of a technical thing. It doesn't affect us. So this is the fox, also in basically a 1/2 inch, and so, but it's a 1/2 inch, but it's definitely a little fuller bristle than this one. So the 𝐍𝐷 has a tendency to be a fuller bristle, where the traditional bamboo has a tendency to be a thinner bristle. That's the other thing I've noticed. And it's probably something he actually says on his website. But you can look at the difference in the shank there. See how this one is wider? So he gets more hair in this one. So these have a tendency to be a little bit thicker, and these are a little thinner. So I love the thinner ones for scripting. The thicker ones are good on the when you want to make a larger movement. And have the same springiness. But if you want to have a good one for scripting, then look for either the brown or these more traditional bamboo ones for scripting. Okay, and this is great for just in general for using. Okay, now let me just get these. These are the synthetics. This one right here is goat. So the goat is really cool for synthetic. This is sable line here. So this is probably more like it's a sable. So just like this is a Russian sable. This may not be a Russian sable, but it's still a sable. And this is some of these are the newer brushes he sent me, and I haven't used yet, but I can't wait to use this one because it's going to be beautiful for large brushwork because of the sable. So that one I haven't tried yet. That'll get tried. This is boar hair. So we're going to put this one with the goat for right now. 4. These are all synthetic. The white synthetic is a little firmer than the orange. This one right here is going to be this looks like a synthetic too. This is synthetic. And then this one is deer. This is the 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐅 deer. So that's going to make a really beautiful movement. Sort of, it'll be similar to my older brushes that we did here. So this is just a nice one if you want to do really large scripting and you want something that's going to be responsive. But these are working large. So anything, this is another 3-inch. Anything over an inch, honestly, you want to work really large with. So keep in mind that these are better for larger types of work. This is just the really, I think this is the large 𝐈𝐍, I mean in the synthetic. I'm pretty sure this is one of the largest ones. Yeah, this is this one I had him. He sent this one along to me recently because I wanted a really big, thick one to use on the very large gel plate. So any of the synthetics are wonderful for the gel plate. If it's the white or the orange, these are great because you don't have to worry about any of the acrylic paints or anything messing up your brushes. They clean easily and they're beautiful. So any of your natural hair brushes, you really want to only use them for ink, and then you want to clean them. So only ink and then clean them. But for the gel plate, the synthetics are what's good. So we'll get to the synthetics. So in order to do, so either you want to get the Russian Sable in the 1/2 inch or the Silver Fox in the 1/2 inch. Okay. These are other ones I've been just trying out. These are the boar hair. They're very stiff. But I feel like I'm going to get a really, like I've used it a little bit already with this one. You get kind of like a real crunchy line for scripting. So I'm still working with that. And this one right here is goat with the synthetic. So this is goat with a little bit of synthetic. And I like this for scripting because this one is only, ouch. This one is an inch, and I use this a lot in, you know, our book that the magazine one where I'm using I don't see it here, but our magazine journal where I'm scripting every page in it, I use this brush a lot for that because I get a wide, wild line, but it's still not too long. So it's just an inch, right? But it's synthetic, so I get springy, but I also get this sort of irregular tip on it. So this one I use a lot for scripting large, you know, like large brush work, really. And so I would definitely recommend this one. And this one is like 55. So it's the 𝐈𝐍 Goat Synthetic Blend. This one's nice. So I would suggest that in terms of what I have here, and we'll get to these elk, is that you would either want to go with the Russian Sable or the Silver Fox in the 1/2 inch, and then the 𝐈𝐍 Goat Synthetic Blend in the inch for 2 different types of scripting. Now this right here is all elk, and you can see I've used the elk a lot. I like it. I like this one. Out of all of them, I've used this one the most, and it's the 1/2 inch in the elk. And so the elk is kind of expensive too, but so I don't recommend you get this. This is $160. I mean, you can. I mean, you know, I'm not spending your pocketbook for you because you can see I use it a lot, but I use it also a lot along with this one. So these two do the same thing for me in terms of brush work. This one is good for insus. It makes great circles. So if I don't want really large circles, this one will make this will make a larger circle. And these right here are all These are all Siberian elk. And this one is 70. So this one could be a good, it's not going to substitute these, but if you want a thinner brush and less hair, then you want to go for, I think this one is considered the small. Yeah, this is a small, I think this is the medium. So based on the thickness, small, medium in the Siberian elk. So this one would definitely be in this brushwork category. And these are just a few that I've gotten that I haven't tried this one yet, because this is one of some of the newer ones he sent me. And this one I've used. This one is good for scripting, like real thin, like with any of your watercolors, your inks. It's just beautiful on paper. And I think this one is, I want to say this, yeah, this is synthetic. So this is a synthetic, a small, this is a 1/2 inch, this is a 3/4 inch small synthetic. And it's good for brushwork as well. It's going to be cheaper than these other two. So if you want a more inexpensive one that works nicely, I've done a lot of scripting with this, especially with watercolors and like the 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 metallic watercolors, any metallic watercolor and inks. This really works nicely. So this one is worth it. And so this kind of falls into the the scripting category. So this is inexpensive. The Silver Fox are and sables can be more expensive. This one is a cheaper one. And then these, all these Siberian elk. Now this is synthetic, remember. So this is 3/4 inch small synthetic. And then these are the Siberian elk, and they're great for brushwork, scripting and brushwork, where you want them to cover a little larger space. Okay, so those are those brushes. And now the synthetics. So let's do the orange synthetics first. These right here, this is the one I use all the time. So this is one you see me using all the time on the gel plate. And this thing is really held up. Oh my God. With all the inks and everything. I think this one is 55. And it's the 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 orange synthetic. And I think this is medium. I think. But it's going to look, it kind of has this sort of thick shaft on it. So you normally, I mean, I've sort of taught you that the 𝐈𝐍𝐼 are going to be medium or large, and your smalls are mostly going to be bamboo, although this one, because it's longer, this is a bamboo, but it's a synthetic, so it's a little different. So this one is my all-time favorite, and it's the synthetic, and it works beautifully on the gel plate. These other three I haven't got to use yet, because he just sent them to me, because I wanted him to do some different lengths. Like this is small, medium, and large to use on the gel plate. So I'm going to do a session where we just use these. And then these are large. So this is synthetic sable. I think he just calls it that. It's all synthetic. And it is a 1.5 inch. This one is 1.5 inch. It's thinner. And then this is a large. And it's just a little over an inch. So I haven't done these yet either, but these are all going to be in a session. These synthetics. But this synthetic I use all the time. This is a synthetic. And this is going to be 1.5 inches. And I love this one. These are all great on the gel plate for scripting and for making marks. And then this one is a synthetic. And it's a 1 inch. So this probably is a medium as well. So these are 55. This one's 75, and this one is probably 75 also, just to give you an idea of pricing. So I'm going to put this aside. These I'm going to demo. These, not yet, because I'll demo this when we do a gel plate session. So put those aside for that. Now let's just go ahead and get some ink and get, when your ink dries up, I like keeping these little jars because when it dries up, when you have a lot in there and it ends up drying up, you can rehydrate them. So put this in here. You can literally put this in water and let it sit, and then this ink will rehydrate. So you don't have to feel like you have to throw this stuff away. Still good stuff. But if you let it dry completely, it just breaks off. It's basically charcoal, right? So it just breaks off nicely, cleans the bottom, and then you can have this to rehydrate. You can even put it in a jar, close the lid on it, and just let it hydrate. Okay, now let's do this. Finish up our video. Hopefully this is helping you all. Any questions you have, you can ask. But like I said, once you get the basics, then call Tracy. He's the best one. And you can say, these are the ones Robin said, this is what I want. You know, what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And he'll talk you through it. He has a passion for what he does. I love working with him. And just need to find, hold up, where's my cups? Sorry. I need some more. I can just use this. You always want to hydrate your brush before you get started. So I'm just kind of putting some water. Okay, so this is my all-time favorite, right? This one is just perfect. Okay, so that's the one you're used to seeing me work with. So let's pull out the ones that are like it. So these are the Fox. These are synthetics. These are Fox. This one and this one, these are just a different size. So this one and this one are similar. So let's just do this one so you can see. So this one is, you can do fine work with it, you know, fine scripting. It's really beautiful for that because it has that long point on it, where this one doesn't have as long a point. Let's see. This is a small, this one also says small. Both these say Silver Fox small. It's probably going to do the same. Yeah. So it's basically doing the same. So the Silver Fox small is great. This is, let's move this, Russian Sable medium. So you can see, you'll see the difference. See, it's making a thicker. See, it makes a thicker line because it's a medium. So you can see this compared to this, it's just a thicker line. So this is why when you start going larger, you want to have more space to do it in. So if I'm working on this one, you know, I'm really going to make some dramatic marks because the brush allows that. So here again, the Russian Sable or the Silver Fox in the small, 1/2 inch is what you're going to want for scripting. Now this right here is the synthetic one it's a little longer, so you get a longer stroke, but you know, by it being cheaper, if you want to try it, you still get, so you still get a really neat line. Let me get another piece of paper. So here, so you can really control your script. You can still make really small, fine script. We can also do Old World. Okay. We can do so you get good control. And this is synthetic. You can do 1/2 inch. I think he does a 1/2 inch in there. This one is 1 1/4 inch. I mean, no, this one is 3/4 of an inch. But I'm pretty sure he has this as a 1/2 inch. But this is 3/4 of an inch. So that. And then this is the elk. Why am I showing you the elk? Because this is another option. So you see, you don't get the, you can, if you work it, you can get the smaller, thinner lines, but it's more of a consistent line. It's a pretty brush, that's for sure. This one's 70. So this is a Siberian, small Siberian elk, and it's a really beautiful line to it. You can see it's a different line than, like, say, these. It's subtle. It's like when you start using these brushes a lot, you start noticing the differences. Okay, so now let's look at these. These are the Siberian elk. Now, these are the ones that I like to use for brushwork. So this one I'm going, see, we're getting that kind of thing with it. Because it's this style is stubby, it's a medium, you know, you get a lot more brushwork. It's a little harder to do fine scripting with it. It just is not a brush for that. It's more for brushwork. So hold up. Okay. So this is definitely brushwork. So when you see me doing these kind of things, this is the 𝐍𝐬𝐷 Siberian elk. It's 160. This one is the goat blend, synthetic blend, which is 55, and I love this one. You get a nice line with it. It's a slightly different line. You see how it's a little bit more square? The strokes are more square, where this is more rounded. You see how these are more rounded and these are more square? It's just a difference in what the brush is going to do. But I mean, it's going to still get you there for $55. So in terms of brushwork, this is one to do, and then this one is, I haven't done this one yet. So this is the 𝐍𝐬𝐷 and the Silver Fox. This is going to be another kind of bold line as well, in the 1/2 inch. This one is 160. So here again, this one and this one is my favorite scripting, of course, and then this one, in terms of inexpensive brushes, well, this one isn't inexpensive, but you could use this in the place of this. So these two are good in terms of your synthetics, and I'm only showing these because these two will come out to just a little over 100. But I don't want to talk you out of, if you're ready for a better brush, go with the sable, go with the Russian sable, or go with the fox. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to show everyone so that it helps you make the best decision. Okay, and then these are going to show up better on the gel plate, but I'll just do brushing so you can sort of see. Let's do that one. They still do some really nice bold lines. See that? And then this last one, which is, so you see, this one stays pretty consistent in terms of its shape because it's stubby and it's all the same length. This one, see, has more of a point on it, so you see you get a little bit more of that little edge right there to it, because when you flick up, you're going to get that. And then this one is in between these two in terms of the way the bristles are cut. And so you're going to get a little bit of that movement, but not as much as this one. And it's smaller. So this is the synthetic, orange synthetic in the 1.5 inches. This is orange synthetic in 1 inch, which is this line. So this is 1 inch. This is 1 inch. This is 1.5 inches. And then this one is, I think this one's going to be 1 inch in a large. So this is a large or a medium. I don't know, one of the two, because it's not on. Wait a minute, is it on? It's not on here, but I think it goes by 1 inch. So I think it goes by the 1 inch. Okay, I think that's a good overview of all the brushes. And you can kind of see everything I have, so when I'm pulling things out, you'll have an idea of what I'm using. And then you can reach out to Tracy and ask him any additional questions, but this basically covers everything. And then in the coming, probably next couple of sessions, I'm going to work with these brushes, and then we're going to flush out those on the gel plate. But in the meantime, if you want one for the gel plate, this is one I use all the time. The 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐈 Orange Synthetic, 1 inch. I think it's the medium, but it'll come up like that. So if you want another one, it's one of the synthetics for the gel plate to go along with these two brushes, the Goat Synthetic Blend, which does this synthetic small 3/4 inch, which goes for scripting, and then this one, the 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐈 synthetic for the gel plate. So these three would get you going, or you can substitute this out for the Russian or the Russian Sable or the Silver Fox. Okay, so there we have it. Alrighty, I hope that helped out, and yeah, onward and upward. See you guys. Bye bye.